What's good, y'all? This is Mr. Richard, and well, let's check that. I'm Mr. Richard. This is I'm So Beastly, episode 6. Um, this episode is about quieting the mind, right? Very important skill to have, tool to have in your arsenal, whatever you want to call it. It's very, very important. But before we get into that, like I said at the beginning of every episode, we're going to discuss the vision that I had. Episode 134, million subscribers slash followers. We are still at 8 out of a million on Spotify, and we are still at 21 out of a million on YouTube. So we have 128 episodes to go before we reach that million. We're going to get there, but it's a slow burn process, especially since I do not promote this at all. The only way I promote this is from this account. I'll post a couple shorts and I post these, but it is not put out anywhere else. I don't really talk about it. So, you know, if we will get there, it'll just be a very, very organic climb. Now, getting into the actual topic at hand, quieting the mind. Okay. Society today is all about distractions. Distractions in the media from what's actually going on in the world, distractions in our own head with constant music or screen time, or honestly even reading to an extent. We don't ever let the mind, a lot of us rather, we don't let the mind simmer. We don't let the mind rest on itself. We don't let the mind just process and evaluate and reflect, right? We need those moments of reflection to truly understand who we are, what's happening, what has happened, what's going to happen, what we actually think of things, how we actually feel, right? These moments of reflection, these moments of mental clarity, they come from quieting the mind and not being with distraction. Okay, and that I mean that can be a distraction can be anything from a conversation with friends, right? It can be music, it can be drawing, anything that's distracting, right? Anything that is stimulation. Not all stimulation is bad by any means. I'm not saying that at all. Please do not take that as me claiming stimulation is bad, right? Too much stimulation is absolutely bad. Never reflecting, never quieting the mind is honestly, it's a terrible thing. It's very unhealthy for the mind. So what I'm getting at today is at least once a week. Start off with once a week. Sit in silence for about 10 minutes. No phone, no people, no reading, no drawing, nothing. This does not include sleep. Obviously, we are undistracted when we sleep. This is in the waking hours. Okay? 10 minutes. That's all you really need. 10 minutes once a week to start. Eventually it'll be very difficult in the beginning. I'm not gonna lie. When you're not used to it, it's very difficult to sit with your own mind, let the thoughts creep in, um, to reflect on what you have experienced. It's very difficult in the beginning. Okay? If you can't handle 10 minutes, and honestly a lot of people can't, then start with 5. Start with what you can handle and gradually progress more, right? But these moments of reflection, these moments of quieting the mind really help us evolve as people. If we're constantly distracted, we can never evolve, we can never change, we can never alter our mental connections. We can never really understand our mental connections if we don't quiet the mind, right? And this doesn't necessarily have to be meditation, although meditation is the best way to reflect, right? Because it calms you the most. It gets you into yourself. It really lets you look within and expand into the network of the universe, right? The universal web. Okay. It lets you get into that. But meditation is a very simple concept, but it's a lot more difficult to be with oneself in quiet for an extended period of time if you're not used to it, if you're so used to being distracted constantly. Okay? These moments are very important because that's when your questions tend to get answered. You ask questions, you wonder these things, but a lot of times we don't look them up, right? Once again, question everything. Always question everything. Always look into different aspects. Don't just believe things on surface level. Look into them, right? Respectfully question everything. When you ask these questions, sometimes you can find them by research, and sometimes you can't. Sometimes they will just come to you, but they cannot come to you unless you have quieted your mind, unless you're allowing an opening for those answers to enter into your mind. Right? So this moment of quiet, these times of reflection are where we can truly gain knowledge or start to understand what we have learned. Right? This is where our processing can reach its maximum potential. Think about it like a computer. Our brain is a computer. Okay? If your computer is running a bunch of different programs at one time, it's going to be slower. If you have a bunch of internet tabs open at one time, it's going to be slower, right? So then if once you close all those programs or close all those tabs and have only one of them open, it's going to run its most efficient. And that's very similar to the mind. If you're focused on so many different things at one time, each of those things is being held back. None of them are able to reach their full potential, reach their maximum efficiency, right? And the mind is unable to fully process what it needs to process at the rate it's capable of processing because there's too many things going on at one time. It's overstimulated. Okay? We need these moments of peace, these moments of silence. We need this time of reflection to fully grow as people and become who we're meant to become and understand what we are meant to understand. Right? The universe will give you pieces of knowledge when you're ready to hear them. Right? It doesn't tell you before you're ready because you may brush it off, you may not fully accept it. When you are ready, okay, these moments of silence, that is where you will be given different pieces of information from the universe. Maybe some that you haven't understood yet, that you've been searching for the answer and waiting for some type of sign. Maybe some things that you understood in a past life and haven't remembered it yet. And these moments of silence, this is where you're able to remember what you've known for, you know, lifetimes. And yes, I am in the field of multiple lives, reincarnation to an extent. I guess that's what you would call it. It's the best way to describe it. Yes, that is something that I believe in and I've seen proof of. But that'll be for another discussion entirely. Uh, but anyway, the whole point of this is to take at least 5 to 10 minutes a week, one time a week, sit in silence, let your week process itself, reflect on your week, and your brain will make connections that you didn't even think were possible. You didn't think anything of it, you had no clue, and it will just start connecting these things. And you will have more clarity than you've ever had in your entire life just by giving 10 minutes a week, whether it be the beginning of the week or the end of the week, middle of the week, it doesn't really matter when. But if you start with this 10-minute a week moment of silence and time of reflection, anti-distraction, you will start to be functioning at a much higher level than you ever have before. And I think that's from what I've seen, it's something that most of society has gotten away from. Um, it's it's easy to get away from it. It's very difficult to sit by yourself. It's very difficult to have those moments of silence right now. And I understand. I fully understand that. But without that, we can't we can't excel, we can't grow. And growth is the key. We need to grow. We need to use the knowledge, learn everything, question everything, and then reflect, and then we can grow and change as people. That's how you change. You change through reflection. Because when you reflect, you can see it from a different angle. When you're not distracted, you can see things from a different perspective. And remember, perception is reality. So if you can change your perception of things, then your entire reality can change. And that's really what is necessary. Change your perception through reflection, and you can alter your own reality. And I think that's the biggest thing that I think we need to know. And I'll leave you with that. 10 minutes a day. Check that 10 minutes a week of silence and reflection without distraction. That's all I ask of you. It's a very simple task. But if we can start doing that and gradually increase that time, then I think I know our society will be able to come together better than we ever have. This divide will start to evaporate, right? Cancel out the noise, 10 minutes of silence and reflection a week. All right, I don't want to beat a dead horse. That's obviously you know, pointless. But yeah, so that's what I'm gonna leave y'all with. Thank you for listening. Um, I'm Mr. Richard. This is I'm So Beastly. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz, or don't. It's up to you. But we will reach that 1 million by episode 134. Uh, long way to go, but it's all about the journey, not the destination. I'll catch you fabulous people in episode 7.